I'm gonna try and work on the old Riviera today. Let's get this turned around so you can see what I'm gonna try and be working on. I'm gonna try and rebuild that inner rocker panel over there. Welcome to Wabi Sabi Jalopy Shop. I'm not sure if I talked about Wabi Sabi a little bit. I'm half Japanese. My mom was Japanese. So in my world, Wabi Sabi in Japanese, pretty much in a quick breakdown, just means finding beauty in imperfection. And that's what I do. I try and find beauty in all the imperfect things. Everything I do is not perfect. It's like I said before, I don't claim to be the best at metalwork. I try and do the best that I can with the small amount of tools that I have. If I can make it better, I'm going to do my best to make it better. So here we go. First thing we got going on, rocker's bad from about right here all the way up to the front on the inside. It's got a little bit underneath section from about right in this area to up here needs to be redone on the underside. The outside to about right here is in good shape. Just the very end, it's about so long on the outside I'll have to fabricate. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this inner piece first. I'm going to take a piece of paper, make a template, and I got some 16 gauge to make this out of. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Once I get that traced out on my paper, we'll get it cut out and kind of form the shape or length that I need to have. And then we'll start getting it ready, bent up, because it's got an angle right here that it bends. Then it does a little thing down here. So I'll get that made. Then we'll cut all this out, weld in the new piece, and then I'll work on the others a piece at a time. So this will be probably 3 different pieces to fix this rocker. I'll be using 16 gauge steel. Most of the stuff on the body and the floor is 18 gauge on this. The rockers are a little heavier, they're 16 gauge, so I got some 16 gauge steel that I'll use to repair this. So that's what we're going to do first. I got these little magnets. Cut me a piece of paper. Take my magnets. Help hold this in place. Extra hands. That's what I gotta have. And initially, I'm just trying to get the length and the shape, because it curves up down here on the end. I'm just trying to get the shape of this thing along the bottom. And then I'll transfer that over to my piece of sheet metal. You can see I've got sections that are missing. I can run my hand along there, run my finger along there, and it'll actually make a crease mark. And I can cut that off. As you can see at the top, it comes up here and folds over at the top. I'm trying to get it to fit as snugly as possible. But there's some pieces of rust from the floor supports that aren't letting it lay completely flat. The only concern I have is for this little jog right here. It hugs a little further in on this edge, and it comes to here and it bumps out. I'm going to have to see how I'm going to have to tackle that. Just going to lay some marks under here. Get it tucked up under and lay some marks under here. And then I'll come back, put it on my table, try and make that a straight line. So now I've got that kind of laid out where I want it. Pull this off. Take my little magnets with me just in case I need them over there. We're going to go back to the table. Okay, I'm over here to the table. And those of you that were watching 2 videos ago, I found my favorite hammer after I cleaned up. Okay, I have my piece of 16 gauge. And then I have my template that I made. Mark this. Always try and remember. This is the top. This is the bottom. Hard writing upside down. Let me get my scissors. I'm going to take my straight edge. If you remember when I said I was going to mark this, the straight edge, because this is where it tucked underneath that lip at the top of the rocker. Find it there. I'm going to trim this all down because I want this template to be as close as I can possibly make it. When I transfer this over to my piece of sheet metal, let me just go double check it real quick. Well, I'm not sure if I cut this piece of 16 gauge wide enough. Let me go check. That might be just barely wide enough. We're going to see. I know I'm going to cut my paper oversized just to be sure. This bottom edge. Actually, I think that might work out perfect. Trim the ends down a little bit, put my brake in it right in here. See how that turns. That might work out perfect. Let me knock some of this stuff off of here and get my face shield. Put that stuff down so this will lay a little further. That's more better right there. All right. What I have to do, this comes up about 3/4 of an inch or so. It has a slight bend back toward the outside. So I'll bend that little bit in there. And then I'm going to lay this back in here and mark for the top. So let me double check and measure all that. We'll do that little jog in there. Seven eighths. 7/8 of an inch all the way down. Okay, back at the table. 7/8 from the bottom and that way. So I need to do it on this side. Seven eighths. Seven eighths. 7/8. Put this in my little, oops. Nope, we're not putting it in there because it's too long. So let's get back over here. That 7/8 is going to have to bend this way. So now I need to mark it on this side since I'm going to have to bend it on my table. 7/8. That's another one of those things. One day I'll get at least a 4 or 6 foot break. Maybe. I can afford to do that one day. Or I can do bigger metal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp this to my table on my marks. And then I'm just going to hammer that side down a little bit. One thing to remember when you're metalworking, you can never have enough clamps. Doesn't need a lot of bend. So. All right, let's go test it and see. Looks decent. Right there does that weird little jog. Really not sure why it does that. Oops, that wasn't tight enough, was it? All right. Hammer this out a little bit, I think. Get it and make that little jog. Right about there. See if I can get around that. Make it kind of do the little whoop-de-doo there. It's getting more better. Work on that. Yeah, we'll work on the bend that's at the top. And it does this little jog. I'm going to see if I can move some of that metal. Yeah, and I know I'm going to catch grief from all kinds of people about this. See how the sandbag lets you make that little indentation there without too much bending of the whole panel. I don't know if you can see how it makes that little jog in the metal. I'm not really sure why it's doing that, but let's go see how it fits now. Oh yeah, that's more better right there. Yeah, see how much better that fits now? It brings it closer. Now what I'll end up doing is I'll be able to hammer this edge down and it'll go around this little lip right here, this little, where the inner kick panel kicks back in. Yeah. The way that's going to kick in right there. That'll line up with that. You just measure all that out. So from that, that turn, 3 7/8. 3 7/8. Still 3 7/8 right there. So I'll need to bend the top end at that measurement, which is bring it to just where this kick out, this little whoop-de-doo here is. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I'll bend this over, bend that piece over to here. I'll probably have to come back and hammer this a little bit, form it into shape, and that'll give it that jog, and it should all lay in there pretty flush at that point. Let's go see. So from the bottom, come in here, measure 3 7/8. 3 7/8. 3 7/8. Straight edge. Draw me a line. Marks right there. There. Drew that line up to my little whoop-de-doo. And so that needs to bend in this way. So now I got to measure it on the other side. 3 7/8. Because I got to bend it down. So let's try this again. 3 7/8. 3 7/8. 3 7/8. Okay. All right. 3 7/8 on this end so I can line the mark up to the edge. bend that too much. I don't think that's enough, but I'm gonna take it a little at a time. Let me go check it. Yeah, that's got to bend a good bit more. Let's check it again. It actually needs to bend just a little bit more. Maybe. I'm not really sure. Close. Grab a couple more pliers. If I can make that fit around that or not. No. A little bit of finesse. If it don't fit, hit it with a hammer. If it still don't fit, get a bigger hammer. Alright. It's actually not looking too bad. Got that little jog. That's sucked in there. In there. Alright. Now what I'm doing, I got it fitting pretty decent. Got some more tweaking to go. It needs to bend down a little more. See how much more it is right here. than the rest of it. So I'm going to take it back over to the table. I'm going to bend this down just a little bit more. And then we're going to cut that rotted section out. Oh, yeah. That fits a lot better right there. That's what I'm talking about. Way more better. Way more better. All right. I'm going to take a break just a second, get me a little drink of sweet tea. I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut this out. And we'll see about getting this piece welded in. Okay, got my real deal gloves now. I'm going to try to just drill out these spot welds all along here. And as you can tell, the inner part of the panel is gone from this side. But I'm going to try and drill all these spot welds out. Then I'm going to come up here, drill these spots out up here, because this panel is going to lay on top right here. So I got to drill and cut all this out so I can lay my inner rocker on there for the structure. Then I'll come back, cut this on the top. I'll fit my piece of metal, lay it in here after, and then scribe and cut exactly where I need to after I get the bottom part off. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's see how it goes. I might need a little bit better. Get the other one with a fresh battery. That's a little more better. I don't need to cut that one. Go get my face shield. Safety first.
Looks like I got to rebuild the inner structure of that too. Huh. Okay. And this is how it goes. The more you dig, the more you find. I had no idea that the center support piece was bad. Well, how is that attached? It's just welded right there. Trim that off. Trim it off back to here. And I can tell that support, that inner support piece right there. That is, yeah. The inner support piece comes all the way back to here and runs all the way to this front edge. So I guess what I'm going to do first now